Hey, what's going on YouTube? Renex back at it again. Let's talk about 5 things you should do or should never do to your pocket knife to make it last forever. Let's just say you spent a bunch of money on a new Benchmade or maybe a new Montana knife company knife, whatever the case may be. The number one thing you should not do to your trusty new pocket companion is use it as a pry bar or a screwdriver. I am guilty as sin as doing this. Now, there are some blade shapes you can get away with it. Okay, if you get yourself a good Tanto style, maybe you can use it for a little bit of scraping or pry bar type stuff. But here's the thing. If you decide to use your knife in that manner, you can bend it, you can damage the knife blade, you can destroy the knife tip, you can need knife reshaping earlier than you are expecting it to happen. It's designed to cut. It's a tool. It's usually not thick enough or strong enough for you to put any type of lateral force into your new pocket pal. And if you do that, there's a high likelihood that you damage the tip, especially if you use it as a pocket screwdriver. There have all been times that we've run across a fastener. It was a Phillips. We told ourselves if we just put the tip in, ladies, you've heard this before, if we just use the tip, we're confident that we're not going to screw stuff up. And the next thing you know, it doesn't go down as we plan. So I have spent a bag on pocket knives in the past, probably a few $1,000s. I've gotten a lot of knives for free, but before I got any knives for free, I was spending my own hard dineros on such dollars. And you know, some dumb things I've done that I will never do again. Leave them wet and or dirty. Okay, I get it. If you're cutting up a whole bunch of boxes, you're breaking down a whole lot of them, you're gunking it up with tape, maybe you don't have time to immediately clean the blade of tape gunk. That's probably not the biggest deal in the world. But if you're using that knife to cut the tip off constructive adhesive before you apply it to a job and a little bit of adhesive gets on that knife and you fail to clean it, it may never open again. Okay, or you may never get it off of the tip of that knife without reshaping it. If you allow your knife to get wet because you just got done processing a brand new fresh hog in the field, you want it to start cutting some lats off, you want it to cut the buttocks out, you want it to start getting the skin off the animal, you leave it out overnight, you leave blood on it, or you let the dew get to it in the morning time, you can ruin your pocket pal. You see how I keep going back to your pocket companion, because that's what it is. It's a tool. It is not designed for you to purposely allow for it to get corrosive. Corrosion is one of the number one enemies of your metal tools, especially your pocket knife. Now, also, dirt is not your best friend even. Leaving it covered with food or dirt or moisture, as mentioned earlier, can lead to it rusting or pitting, you damaging the edge. It's just not that good to keep it in that condition for an extended amount of time. I know there are times we get busy. I know there are times you may switch it up. You may not carry the same pocket knife for every single day. You might switch it up and you may forget that that knife needs your TLC. Tender love and care needs to be given as soon as possible. You should not ignore it at all. Number 3, I'm guilty of this. I am guilty of this. This is something that you should do to your pocket knife. That is sharpening it. Okay. I guess the converse opposite of that would be sharpening it incorrectly. Check out Jared over at Neves Knives, because he can give you all sorts of advice, whether you're using a pull through sharpener, you're using stones, you're using a static sharpener, you're finding the angle, whatever the case may be. If you're using fast, jerky motions when you're trying to sharpen your knife, it can damage the edge. It can need to reshaping. I don't know how to reshape knives. If I need a knife reshaping, it's going to the manufacturer or it's going to Jared at Neves Knives. Those are my options. Okay. Proper sharpening techniques are something that are learned, just like other things in our lives. How to break down a big chunk of ice. You learn how to do that over time. How to correctly sear and cook a steak on a grill. You learn that over time. You don't get a pocket pal and just all of a sudden know how to sharpen that bad boy. But we definitely have all been guilty of not sharpening it soon enough. If you can run your hand across that blade and it's not slicing your skin, that might mean that you need to go ahead, sharpen that bad boy. Here's the thing. A sharp knife is a safer knife. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but If your knife is sharp, it's safer. If your knife is sharp, it's more enjoyable to use. I don't care if you have 13 MOV or if you have Magna Cut. You should make sure that that edge is ready to go. If you're not confident in doing it yourself, you should pay for a service, or you should send it to the manufacturer, especially if they have like a Life Sharp warranty such as Benchmade. Take advantage of that, hands down. Number 4, things you should never do to your knife if you want it to last a lifetime. I want to give my knives to my sons. One way I won't be giving a knife to a son, especially if it's a folding pocket knife, is if I'm doing excessive force or twisting while cutting. If your knife is not cutting properly and you're beginning to jerk it laterally, twisting it laterally, that means your knife is probably not sharp enough or you're using it for the incorrect task. You should be able to do clean, controlled cuts with your knife. If it's not doing that, something's going on with that cutting method. Either you have the incorrect type of grip, you're using the wrong type of blade, you're using it through fibrous materials, and maybe you need serrated edges. You need to understand, why are you having to all of a sudden twist that blade? Because you could bend it, you could ruin it, and then you're more than likely just gonna have to buy a new knife, because there's a difference from needing to reshape an edge that you just didn't sharpen properly. But if you're twisting, you're flexing the blade, you're twisting the blade, you can mess up the scales, the blade can go sideways, you can just tear it up. Now, you have a less likelihood of that happening with a full tang fixie, but it still could happen, okay? Especially for softer metals. So my advice, avoid twisting, jerking. Don't use your knife in a vise, even if you're testing it. Let's just avoid that. Okay, here's the last one. This one may not make as much sense, but it makes a lot of sense to me. Number 5, I think, is one of the biggest ones. Just lending it out carelessly could completely screw up your pocket knife. You're trying to give that down as an heirloom. Don't give your knife to someone who is careless or inexperienced. There could be someone who's very experienced but very careless, someone who's a master at doing something. I'm a master electrician. I've been doing that HVAC for years. I've been fixing woodworking all this time. Give me your knife, I need to do some scoring. Give me your knife, I need to cut these wires. Next thing you know, they're using it to pry, or they're twisting it, or they're doing any of the things that I mentioned earlier. Giving your knife out carelessly could lead to them damaging your shit. And then if you have a good relationship with that person, sometimes you don't want to burn the bridge by demanding they replace it, demanding they get it fixed. Or your knife could grow legs, whether on purpose or by accident. That person slips it in their right pocket, they put it in their tool bag, they put it on the back of their truck, it just falls off while they're driving down the street. I'm more prone to give a knife away than to let someone use one of my expensive knives, especially if I hand you a knife and you can't even open it correctly. I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Actually, I got a better knife for you. Just give me a couple seconds to go grab it for you. Handing it out carelessly could lead to your knife not lasting as long as you thought it was going to. Comment down below. I just named 5 things you should never do with your pocket knife if you want it to last forever. But I know I missed some shit. Put some stuff down below of things you should never do with your pocket knife, so we can talk about that in the comments. If this is your first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.